All right. You see the title. And it's true. It is true what we got. Oh, there we go again with that. There. It is true what we got. We got a frustrated Rock at the end of the show. But let's go through the show first. And I'll say this. It wasn't bad. The show wasn't bad. I'm not going to tell you that it was total trash when it came to the episode of SmackDown. It was better than normal. So I will tell you this. Am I interested in Elimination Chamber? Yeah, I am. And for most of what I saw here was okay. We got Braun Breaker as a new member of the SmackDown roster, even though he is now NXT Tag Champion with a Baron Corbin. He'll be doing double duty for a little while until they decide to drop that title and he stays on SmackDown permanently. But it's alright for now. Let's open qualifying match. KO versus Dom. Let me give it to you like this. Am I bored with Dom? Yeah. Now, the reason I'm bored with Dom is because they've been feeding into this Dom. Every time he gets on the mic, he's being booed. Now, most people say that's good. He's getting the proper reaction. Yes, he is getting the proper reaction as a heel. But let's make it clear. Is he a good heel? No. He is not a good heel. He just isn't. I'm not saying he's a bad heel, but he's not a good one. He feels like someone who did have the attitude of a good heel. But as time's gone on, he's been here because once he started getting up to here with his total heat, when people just boo his ass and he was feeding into it and he was cursing, somewhat cursing in Spanish, saying shut the hell up or something like that. Well, not bad cursing, but just saying shut up. He doesn't do that anymore. It's like he's become entitled, that he expects to get booed and he's just waiting for it. To be honest, he seems nonchalant anymore. Let me ask you this, guys. Have you noticed in the last couple of months that he started chewing? Looks like gum. Have you noticed? He didn't used to chew gum beforehand. Now he is chewing gum. Why? Why is he chewing gum? Now, it could be because he's smoking, and that's a way to be able to deal with it. Or he could be frustrated or whatever. But usually those who chew gum like that, at that point, usually they're compensating for something. He used to be up here with the heat, and it was good heat. And he would feed into that and start yelling at people saying in Spanish, shut up, who the hell you are, whatever he used to say, which was great because he was interacting with the fans. He's not doing it anymore. He went from here to here. For me personally, he just feels entitled now at this point. Not because the character is entitled. It's because the actual person, Dominic, he's already gone through it and he's not expecting anything different. So I'm saying entitled is maybe not the right word. He's complacent. There you go. That's a better word. So I didn't expect a KO to lose here. But the question was, why was Miz out there thinking KO was Miz? Or not Miz. Yep. You see how this really, the way they're trying to book this, that they're having a R-Truth coming out thinking that KO is the Miz. And the reason I boxed on purpose was because it's stupid. I would rather see him mess more with Damian Priest. Like, yeah, he's crazy, but let him get angry crazy, not stupid crazy. There's the problem. And we're not getting that. R-Truth has been confronted by Damian Priest, and he told him flat out, you're not a part of us, and breaks his face. But instead of us getting the R-Truth that appeared in 2011 where he had Jimmy by his side, and I'm talking like him now. Jimmy, goddamn, Jimmy. So that crazy R-Truth. I think that would work in this situation. He hasn't done it in what? 13 years, the crazy R-Truth? Not since John Morrison was that day when he was angry at John Morrison. He whooped his ass, grabbed someone's light cigarettes, started smoking in the damn arena, and then went from there and acted crazy with little Jimmy. That is one of the best he's ever been. And here, he's still going with the same thing where he should turn a little nuts and start getting angry at Damian Priest and start making him feel like he's Jimmy, that Jimmy's gonna smack the shit out of Jimmy. That is the look and attitude of someone who's lost his mind going after a Damian Priest. That's where we should be getting that. Now, maybe we'll get it next week. Maybe. But after seeing this, when he's working with Dom, and Dom loses, and he's thinking that KO is Miz, I just don't know. Next, another qualifying match. Zelina Vega versus Tiffany Stratton. Miss Tiffy Tiff is now on SmackDown. And let's make this clear. Did she look good? Yes. Was she a little botchy? Yes. Which is understandable. She's never worked with Zelina Vega. I'm not surprised. She was a little botchy, but it was not bad. I am not having a problem with her being a little botchy. Her first show as a member of the roster, and, well, of course she's been there before, but this is her debut match. I am not surprised she was a little botchy with Zelina Vega. Now, Zelina is still working with LWO, which is now dealing with Delgado del Fantasma. I believe that's how it's pronounced. I always mess up the name. I'm bad with names. And there is Elektra Lopez there. And during the match, she grabs Elektra, who had been bad-mouthing her, pull her out of the seats because Santos and everybody else was sitting there. She grabs her, pulls her out, throws her back, loses the match, and now she's staring at Elektra Lopez like it's her fault, which it's actually Zelina's fault for letting Elektra get on her nerves. Let me give it to you right. Am I interested in LWO dealing with Legado del Fantasma? At this point, with no Rey, with no Dragon Lee, where's Dragon Lee? Is he hurt? Where's Dragon Lee on NXT? When he was working with Uba Femi. He should be working with LWO. He's not there. Shouldn't Rey put over a Carlito, making him feel like he's the current leader? No. He's not the leader. But when you look at Legado del Fantasma, you know Santos is the leader. You know Carrillo and Angel Garza are his followers. And then you know Elektra Lopez is there now. I believe them more than LWO. LWO feels like a joke. You didn't use Rey to put over Carlito as the new leader until Rey comes back. No. Where's Dragon Lee? You didn't initiate him into the LWO. He's not a member of it. So it wouldn't be good to have him as a member of LWO even if he's going back to NXT. No. So I don't feel nothing from them. Moving on. Now, the Bruiserweight and the... how can I say this when it comes to Pete Dunne and Tyler Bates? Do I like them? Yeah. And now they're going to go up against, well, do I believe they stand a chance against Judgment Day? I don't know. I hope they do. But the question here is this. It's not about the match quality that's going to be the issue. It's that will they do something with Pete Dunne and Tyler Bates? This is one of the things that I've seen that was going on in NXT that may also go on here. That no matter what anybody... I'm repeating myself because it gets frustrating. When Vince was in charge, he never cared about a small guy. And worse, he never cared about the British or European wrestlers. He didn't give a fuck. Unless you were a big-ass guy that he liked, he didn't care. Vince may be gone, but that situation is still there. When you look at what was going on in NXT, a lot of the British wrestlers, a lot of the European wrestlers really don't get very far. The only person that's gotten far in the main roster that is European is Gunther. That's it. We didn't really get very far with Grayson Waller. Not saying it's even his fault. He's just been booked bad. And yes, we did see him with Paul Heyman. And that's probably what's going to happen in Australia. He's talking with him to try and set something up. So when it came to PETA, Australia, we're going to see something that's going to happen with Grayson Waller. He will be doing something with the bloodline. It's obvious. But the wrestlers that are either European or maybe in this case Australian have never gotten anywhere. So do I believe Pete Dunne and Tyler Bates are going to get something in Elimination Chamber? No. Next to Judgment Day, really not ready to drop those titles yet. But I feel like they're never going to really get anywhere. That's just me. Moving on. Next match. It wasn't even a match. AOP versus Jobbers. They were destroyed. Done. There's no more needed. AOP, the authors of Pain, needed this a while ago. Instead of dealing with Bobby and the Street Profits, this is what guys, this show wasn't bad. Seeing AOP destroy them was fine. I'm glad to see it. They needed it. But I'm telling you right now, AOP should have done this from the very beginning. They should have been destroying people from the very beginning. But no, they had the Street Profits and Bobby at first, and that was dumb. Dumb. There's no build for them. They don't feel 100% legitimate. Yes, they have great fights with the Street Profits and Bobby. It's just not enough. They need more. And hopefully they'll get more wins and feel legitimate with Paul Ellering by their side. That's just the deal. Now, Logan Paul versus The Miz, a qualifying match to get an Elimination Chamber. I'm going to tell you this. Was I wondering, would Logan Paul really come and work going into WrestleMania? This was something that was a legitimate question. I don't know about anyone else, but I even said this. And this was in the beginning, in like the early January. Will Logan Paul do a program long enough to go into WrestleMania? Will he be seen? And we got a match here. We got him setting up for Elimination Chamber. And hopefully, since he did beat Miz, we'll see more of him that will go into WrestleMania. Now, I have no idea will this happen. I do believe it should happen. We don't have much time before Elimination Chamber. It's like one more week. Maybe one more week, I think, to Elimination Chamber. So he should be on the next show before Elimination Chamber. I think so. But the question's going to be, what will he do? Will he just talk or will he wrestle? Either one is all right. As long as he's there, as long as we see the U.S. champion. And his promo beforehand, when he was doing the interview, was fine. I actually liked it, that he made it very clear that he's going to go in Elimination Chamber, he's going to win, he's going to deal with Seth, and he's going to become a double champion. I have no problem with that, because it's needed. Now, this was the match I need to see. I'm happy to see this match. But now I'm also very, very worried. Even though I'm happy, I'm still worried. Naomi versus Alba Fire. Now, you guys know how I feel. Do I believe Naomi should have came back? No. I believe she should have waited an extra year. Yes, if she had to leave Impact Wrestling, which is now turned to TNA, in which now, again I state this, Scott D'Amore has been fired, if you didn't know. When it came down to it, I think she should have gone to AEW and had a year stint there, and then gone back to WWE, because as I said, WWE, TKO WWE is in flux right now. They're in flux. And they're not even a year old. And with all that's going on with the allegations in court from Vince, it is impossible to know how far this madness is going to stretch. And who else that's still part of the company or was affiliated with the company with a big brand name won't be implicated. Because this is what people don't want to talk about, even though they are understanding it, because more information comes out. Ashley, the original, I forgot her name, but the woman that took her life, I forgot her name, it's been a while. Now the information that was sealed away when she went to court has now been revealed and is going to be possibly admissible in that civil court case against Vince. And who knows who else may show up. I have no idea how many more women will eventually appear that Vince paid off. Or worse, they'll come and they'll say, well, not just John Laurinaitis or Bruce Pritchard or Kevin Dunn. There's this person also that was involved in it. Sooner or later, more people will become apparent. There's a good chance of it. And the reputation of WWE is still going to be an issue. So for me, I wish she had just gone to AEW when her contract was done, instead of going back to WWE so quickly. I feel like it was a big mistake. But I'm hoping I'm wrong. But the match was fine. She won. Everyone was cheering her. So it shows that she's still very positive and very loved by the crowd. Very loved. So, let me give it to you like this. The segments were good. The backstage segments were not bad. Dakota Kai with Bayley was good. Still questioning should she trust Dakota or not. Seeing that Damage Control, and I'm very glad they did what they did. Just like Shinsuke Nakamura, they let all three of these women, Kairi Sane, Asuka, and Io, talk in Japanese, and they got subtitles done. No problem. I've always said that. If you're not going to have a translator, just do the subtitles. But just make sure they've been written correctly while they're doing it. And they sounded very good. There was not much of a problem with it. And the question now is, how far they're going to push Damage Control without Bayley a part of it? Because this is where a big question comes, guys. Will Damage Control hold together? Because if it's Paul, he decides that Io, Asuka, and Kairi can be by themselves without Bayley and let Bayley be on her own. Maybe it's a big question. Is Dakota a double agent? And basically she's trying to trick a Bayley and screw her over. So it's a big question about that. But the question now is not that can they get it done. It's that will the writing team keep it like that? Because lately, if you haven't noticed, some things have just been dragged out pretty long or just flat out dropped. So, not saying that can't happen and not saying that it's not important, that we recognize it, that sometimes it just doesn't work. You got to try another tactic to get someone over. But the thing is that, well, what's going on here, it makes me nervous that they will drop these women soon. Now, I don't think they'll drop it immediately, but the question is after Elimination Chamber, after a WrestleMania, will they maintain them? Because you got them as the tag champs and the current champion. I'm hoping they'll do it. Now, let's do this. And OC. I'm not going to say how far they're going to go with the OC dealing with AJ. I'm just not yet. I'm not. I'm going to leave it at that. I just don't know yet how far they're going to do something, because currently when it comes to Carl and Luke and Michin, I don't think they're doing much with them. I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm just leaving it at that. They're going to deal with AJ, but I just don't know how far it's going to go. Finally, the closing of the show, the Bloodline, and their newest member, Rock. Now, I'm not going to tell you the segment was bad, because it was hell not. But this is something I don't know if JD, Jess, Alex, Solomonster, the Slug Daddy, anyone else may notice. They may, but they just think, it's just part of the stick. I don't think so. I don't think so. When it comes down to it, once the Bloodline came out and they prepped everybody for The Rock to come in, and The Rock is wearing, I do believe, the same type of shirt that he once wore when he was first The Rock, the one that currently Jerry the King Lawler had, because I don't think it's the same one. I don't think he's using that one. I think he just got a new one made. Came to the ring, and he made it very clear what type of Rock they were dealing with. They weren't dealing with the friendly Rock. They were dealing with the I don't give a fuck Rock. I'm going to say almost the most dirtiest shit that I want to. At one point, he said to one person, "Shut your damn mouth with those damn herpes on it." He was eating into their asses. But here's the thing that not many people may want to admit or notice. When you saw how Rock was trying to explain about how Roman and him would have been the greatest thing that could have been. Guys, that was not a work. That is a legitimate shoot. Anyone who says that this was set up beforehand, no, it wasn't. Guys, it was already reported that The Rock, for him to come in to take Vince McMahon's position as executive chairman of the board, because he's a board member now, Remember, The Rock is part of the board of directors. He took Vince's position as executive chairman. If anybody remember what I said months ago, Vince being in this position is nothing. We have no idea who is going to take his position when he's gone, either because of allegations or because he got sick or he died. Or was fired. We didn't know. So Rock is in that position now. And we know for a fact that he was paid $30 million, it was reported, and that one of the stipulations he wanted was not just getting 30 mil and not just bringing in a writer that he knows that is good for him to be written by, not what Triple H would write, his own writer. Also, he wanted a program with his cousin. He said he wanted to do WrestleMania with his cousin this year. He wanted it. So that was legitimate shoot. That segment that he talked about, that you guys blew it. You have no idea how great this is. And this damn pity party, this bullshit. He wanted to say bullshit. I know he wanted to say. I think he wanted to just eat into every person in Utah and Salt Lake City and people at home saying, what the fuck is wrong with all of y'all? You know, this feud between me and my cousin is bigger than Cody and that. But no, all y'all wanted to act like bitches and pretty much wanted me out of the picture and make it about Roman. Fuck y'all. That's what I believe he really wanted to do. Because if you did see the press conference showing about WrestleMania, the look in his face, he was legitimately frustrated. That was not a joke. He rarely ever botches his lines or repeats himself. If you've seen Busted Open Radio with Bully Ray, with Mark Henry, the other guy, I always keep forgetting the guy's name, and he's one who runs Busted Open Radio. I don't know why. You guys can tell me below. I just keep forgetting his name. But honestly, Bully noticed it. So did Mark Henry. Mark knows The Rock better than anybody. He used to work with him for years. Not just Bully. He worked in the Nation of Domination. They drove down the road together. He knows how Dwayne is like when he gets frustrated. And even he said he was pissed. He was pretty much pissed. That's what he realized. Just like Bully Ray, that he was legitimately frustrated that they were booing him. He wanted to be the good guy in this, and he can't. Now, he's playing into being the bitch. No, well, not the bitch, but pretty much he is bitching, actually. Yeah, he's being a heel that's bitching because he wanted this with his cousin. He's bitching. He literally is. He is not happy. But he's playing into it. So you can see that he can take something he's not happy about and he makes it into something. And now he's joined the bloodline. But he didn't want to join the bloodline. He wanted to go up against Roman. And now you see from a promo the literal Dwayne Johnson frustration. He just literally told us all, fuck y'all. I was supposed to have this moment with my cousin. You can suck my dick. I'm going to be mean to you. He didn't even give them the right. If you smell what The Rock is cooking, he said, you don't have that right anymore. And he legitimately meant that. If you smell what the bloodline is cooking, he did this. He didn't want to do that. He wanted to be against the bloodline. Now he has to feed into this. And trust me, he's not happy. Yes, they're going to still make money. And people are not going to understand this. Understand. The company will make money with this. No one is saying they won't. But because Rock did this, he asked as a stipulation next to getting 30 mil to work on the board as executive chairman. I'm sure he took Vince's position. Get his own writer in with that guy's own team to write for him and possibly in time. There's a good possibility. I think Vince Russo might be right because Vince Russo did mention this because of all the allegations that may come up even more and anybody else implicated. A lot of the old people who are working for Vince, they're going to go by, including a Paul Levesque could be fired. Could be. I didn't say will be. But he wanted his own writer that could have extra people working with him. He wanted $30 million, and he wanted to work with his own cousin at the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania 40. I was 13 when the original first WrestleMania, well, Technically, I was 12. It was before my birthday. But I was 13. If you go by 1984, I was already 13, even though it wasn't official. My birthday is in July, and I think it was in April. So, it's been 40 years. This is the biggest one in history until we reach WrestleMania 50. That's 10 years from now, and I'll be 63 years old. Will The Rock do something at the age of 62? Who knows? But this is his chance while he's still got that. So he's not happy. That was a frustrating moment for him. He showed it. But it's just me. Peace.